Hi there, this is Allison with Let's Go Travel Tips. Today is Monday, it's August 15th of 2022, and we have so much to talk about again today. I know you're waiting for a day that I don't tell you we have so much, but let's go ahead and get started. So first of all, I want to talk to you about what's going on in Mexico. Apparently, the Carnival Radiance and the Navigator of the Seas, the Royal Caribbean ship, were not able to make their scheduled stops in Ensenada due to violence. And I appreciate those of you who sent me some updates on that. I know that John Tom did, and a couple of others of you, so thank you. So apparently, I found a story about it. It says the Mexican Army units arriving at Tijuana's airport will be deployed throughout the state of Baja California to restore order after members of the Jalisco New Generation cartel carried out simultaneous attacks in Tijuana, Rosarito, Mexicali, and Tecate, T-E-C-A-T-E. And so I just wanted to let you know that that's going on, and I don't know how long it's going to take until they are able to restore security there and cruise ships will be able to come again. And I was thinking of our Let's Go family member, Holly. I think she is sailing this week. And so Holly, let us know how it's going, and I hope you're safe. Well, I'm sure the cruise lines will not go there unless it's safe. So I'll be anxious to hear from all of you if anyone has their itineraries changed as well because of that. The next thing that I wanted to let you know is I mentioned to you in my video yesterday that Princess has updated some of their protocols. When you go to princess.com, across that dark kind of charcoal blackish banner across the top, and you click on health protocols, they take you to the page where you can select which protocols you want to read about. Now, a lot of those are not completely updated yet. Like if you click on the sailings from like US and Canada or the United Kingdom or Europe or Australia, I don't think there were changes to Australia with this big announcement that Princess made on Friday. And if you have missed that, go see my video on Friday. In fact, I have 2 videos I did on Friday. We had such big news. So anyway, so they have a little place where you can click on to get what the protocols like the vaccination and testing requirements are by region. And that little area has been updated. Okay. And it wasn't when they put that update out the other day, it was just sitting there, but Monday morning here it showed up as updated. And so I just want to zip through that like super fast because you can all go read it, but I want to make sure that you are really aware of what's going on. So just make sure that you know that if you are sailing voyages that are departing from the U.S. out through September 5th. So remember that on September 6th, another set of protocols goes into effect. So through September 5th, you still need to do, if you're vaccinated, you need to do your antigen test within 2 days and your PCR test within 3 days. That is that's if you have got any boosters you're eligible for. If you're vaccinated, no boosters. You just have to do your antigen test within 3 days, your PCR test within 3 days. And if you're not vaccinated, you've got that exemption and you're going to sail, you need to make sure that you remember that you've got to do your PCR test within 3 days. Now, so that is going to change. So after September 6th, those requirements are not going to be in place. But I want to make sure that everybody is super clear that up through September 5th, those sailings departing through September 5th, you still have to do this. So just to clarify, and then if you're going to go to Canada, whether you're going with a cruise to Alaska or you're going on one of these New England cruises, the testing for that is not going to change either. It's in place through September 5th and beyond. With the new announcement Princess made, they cannot change those requirements yet due to Canada's requirements. And so make sure that if you are fully vaccinated, you can do, well, if you're vaccinated, whether you have a booster or not, you need to do your antigen test within 2 days or your PCR test within 72 hours. If you're not vaccinated and you've got that exemption, because you have to have a vaccine exemption to be able to go to Canada, that is within 72 hours that you've got to do your PCR test. Then those of you that get to sail out of the United Kingdom, remember that through September 5th, you have to do your own COVID test and attest to it at embarkation. You just need to do it within 3 days of embarkation. It doesn't matter what kind of COVID test you do. And then you just have to attest, like Howard said this last weekend as he was embarking there in Southampton, they just ask you at embarkation and you say, yes, I took it, and it's negative. So that's really simple. And then as far as sailings from Europe go, except for Greece, make sure that you know you've got to do your antigen test within 3 days, a PCR test within 3 days, and if you're not vaccinated and have your exemption, you need to do your PCR within 3 days. So I just wanted to make sure you're aware of that. And also with Greece, you've still got to do that antigen within 2 days, or a PCR within 3 days, and you have to do those in person. You can't do them with a healthcare provider on a video phone call anymore. I know that you're familiar with that, but I wanted to make sure that everybody is really clear on what you've got to do through September 5th. We announced, talked a lot about yesterday and Saturday and Friday about how things will change on September 6th, but I want to make sure everybody's clear about what you've got to do until then. We have also had a lot more clarification from Carnival Cruise Lines. If you missed the weekend, Carnival, watch my video from Saturday. Carnival made the same announcement that Princess did, but Carnival does sail to Bermuda. And so they have done a really nice update on what their protocols are so that people know what to expect on these different sailings. And so let me tell you, this is Carnival, remember, and I'm going over this because I know that we have a lot of Let's Go family members who cruise Princess a lot, because that's what a lot of us predominantly cruise, but a lot of you will pick up a Carnival cruise if it's going somewhere that you want to go. It's a great price, you've got time, why not? And so I want to make sure that you all know what's going on with it. So as of right now, you need to do, and this is going to stay in effect even after September 6th for these sailings, okay? So they still like you to use the Verifly app when you cruise on Carnival. I used the Verifly app when I sailed on Holland America, and it is so slick. It is very nice. I really enjoyed having that. It was just great. So if you are going to sail to Canada, like I mentioned with Princess, you've got to do your antigen test within 2 days, your PCR within 3 days. Bermuda, it says a PCR can be taken 4 days before sailing, or an antigen test can be taken 2 days before sailing. If you're going to Greece, it says a PCR or antigen within 2 days of sailing, and in Australia, a PCR test 3 days before sailing, or that self-administered test that you attest to, the antigen test, can be within 1 day. It says vaccinated guests are welcome to sail and are no longer required to apply for a vaccine exemption except for cruises in Australia or voyages of 16 nights or longer. And so I just wanted to make sure that's what's going to come up on September 6th. The really big difference that I want to make sure that everybody is aware of, it says that even once September 6th comes and goes, these requirements are going to stay in place. Unvaccinated guests ages 12 and older are unable to sail on cruises going to Bermuda. No exceptions. Unvaccinated guests ages 12 and over are unable to sail on cruises to Canada unless you can get a medical exemption. Canada is very particular about that. If you ask for a medical exemption, you're going to have to provide medical documents from your doctor saying why you can't be vaccinated. You can't just have a single line, letter saying, yeah, can't be vaccinated. You're going to have to supply the information. And then finally, it says guests sailing to Canada and Bermuda will be asked, this is really important, to confirm their vaccination status within 21 days of booking in order for us to manage the requirements for these specific destinations. Guests who are currently booked must complete their vaccine attestation by August 24th. The vaccine attestation is located on the to-do list under Manage My Booking on Carnival.com. Failure by guests to confirm their vaccinated status will unfortunately result in their cruise being canceled. So it's really important that you stay on top of that. Finally, the last thing that I think is really important for you to know from Carnival, it says certain destinations may have protocols that prohibit the disembarkation by unvaccinated guests, which are largely consistent with the guidelines that they have for people who fly into their locations, they noted. It says, so while unvaccinated guests may sail, after presenting the results of that negative COVID test, they will need to remain on board the ship during visits to the following destinations. If you're 18 years and over, you cannot get off in Cartagena, Colombia, and Grand Turk. For unvaccinated guests 12 years or older, you cannot get off in Bermuda, Bonaire, Grand Cayman, St. Kitts, and Tortola. So just wanted to make sure that you are really aware of how things are changing and the information they are starting to release on those cruises. Okay? Alrighty. Now, since we are already talking about Carnival, I thought that there are 2 updates that I thought would be really helpful for you who like to cruise on Carnival or anyone who thinks they want to give it a try. I was really excited to see this. So 2 things. First of all, Carnival has a lot of ports here in the U.S. that she sails out of. Like, I think she has the most ports of any cruise line, I believe, sailing out of ports in the U.S. And so let me tell you, and this is for 2023. She's going to have ships sailing out of Miami, out of Port Canaveral, out of Galveston, Texas, Long Beach, California, New York City, Seattle, San Francisco, Norfolk, Virginia, New Orleans, Louisiana, Baltimore, Maryland, Mobile, Alabama, Jacksonville, Florida, Tampa, Florida, Charleston, South Carolina, and then a little bit in Europe and Australia. That is amazing to me that she sails from so many ports. And so if you are looking to pick up a cruise, I think Carnival is a good place to start. If you look into it and see kind of what cruise experience that you want to have. But if any of you are looking at sailing out of one of these ports and you want information on it, I am happy to ask in a video, because I know we have a lot of Let's Go family members who have experience with that, and they could say, yeah, you cruise princess, you would probably like that sailing, or no, you might want to look around a little bit. But anyway, I just thought it was wonderful because it makes it so that so many people don't have to travel as far. So I thought that was great. The other thing that I thought was really cool that Carnival is doing is, the Carnival Splendor is going to be sailing down in Australia, and so they are actually adding an extra day to a cruise just as a thank you to their passengers who have stayed loyal, who hopped on it and booked a cruise with Carnival when they announced that they would be restarting down in Australia. And so the Carnival Splendor was set to sail originally on October 2nd of 2022, so just this year, and now she is going to set sail on October 1st, and that extra day on the cruise is completely on the house. So I thought that was really great news. Good for you, Carnival. I think that's awesome. So if any of you happen to be booked on that cruise, let us know. Let us know how it goes. And those of you who cruise Princess that have cruised on Carnival and really enjoy it, would you give us all a heads up on what would be a good ship to go on, maybe a good itinerary to go on, or you like to sail out of? I know there's several of you that regularly do that, so I would really like to hear from you. Alrighty. The next update that I've got for you is in my video yesterday. I mentioned what our Let's Go family member had shared about when you click on your stateroom door and it enters you for drawings. So thank you to our Let's Go family member, David. He was so kind to clarify that for me, and it is connected to the Princess prizes that you get to participate in if you have the Princess Premier package. Okay, he said it's included with the Princess Premier, or you can play separately for $20 per day. Each time you open your door, you have a chance to win prizes or an entry into the cruise drawing. It is on all Princess ships now. We had the Princess Premier on the Ruby, and they did quite well with the Princess prizes. And so I really appreciate you letting us know. Clearly, we have not been on a ship that it's been on yet, so I'm really excited to see it on the Discovery Princess. Now, I did appreciate our Let's Go family member, Diane. She said that she thinks it's maybe a little bit sneaky if you click on it, and if you click again too soon, it charges you $20. And so I agree. I think they should program it a little bit better. And I also think, and maybe there is a notice in the stateroom explaining the whole thing to you, because I wouldn't want to be accidentally clicking and not really realizing what I was doing. And so I wanted to let you all know this so that you are aware. So I would say if you're going to do it and you click, wait a minute, because the people that have talked about it say, if you click and you think it didn't work, then you click again. That's how you're going to get charged your extra $20, it sounds like. So just be really careful. But those of you that have the Princess Premier package, I am really excited to hear how this goes. And also, if any of you don't have the Princess Premier package and you want to participate for $20 a day, let us know how that goes as well. But just a heads up, be careful with that little, and if you haven't cruised since the restart, all of the ships have the Medallion class app now. And at your stateroom, there's a little screen by your stateroom. And when you come up to it, like it just senses your medallion and it unlocks the door and it shows your picture and it says that the door is unlocked. But don't worry, you have to be really close to it. Gordon and I tested this out. So it won't do it when you're clear down the hall and somebody else has time to come in your room. It doesn't do it that early. So wanted to let you know about that. So if you've got questions, just let us know. The next thing, I talked about maybe the Champagne Waterfall is coming back. And so the Champagne Waterfall was on the Royal Princess, and I feel like it was on another ship too. So remind me, but I couldn't find it again when I went to look at it. One of you was so kind to tell me, and then I can't find it now. So apparently the Champagne Waterfall is back. It happened on the Royal Princess last week. It happened on another princess ship that I can't remember. And I did hear from some of you that on the Regal Princess and the Majestic Princess last week, there was no Champagne Waterfall. So it sounds like that's just going to trickle back in. Maybe it's just as they have enough time to be prepared for it, get everything moving, because they would set it, for those of you that don't know what the Champagne Waterfall is, they would set up all these champagne glasses and, start with a big round layer and then just get smaller as they go up, and the captain would come and people would dress up. It was always on a formal night, and you could go and they pour champagne from the very top, so then it comes down like a fountain kind of looking thing, like a waterfall. And so then if you wanted your photo taken, you would be up there with the captain helping pour the champagne. I haven't ever done that since we don't drink, but I always thought it was really pretty, and it's really fun. They play pretty music and everybody is there, and it's just, to me, very festive. So anyway, sounds like it's coming back. And I also I was very appreciative to our Let's Go family member, Fred. He was so kind. He noted on one of the comments, and so I wanted to share it with you when I was talking about the ship tours and hoping that they would come back. I mentioned that there was so there's a couple of kinds of ship tours. They used to do ones that were free. This one, there is a charge to go with it. And so he kind of talked about how that worked. And he said they're called the Ultimate Ship Tours. And I remembered that after he said that they cost maybe $150, $175, but you do get gifts. He has done them before. He's like, you go to the down to the kitchen area and the refrigeration area where they show you like the kitchen and how to do different things, and you got an apron there. He also got a jacket and a chef's hat, which that comes in handy when you need a chef's hat. But they also took you to the printing area of the ship, showed you that. You got personalized stationery. You got to go down to the laundry area, which I think would be so cool. I have watched all these videos on how they do laundry on a cruise ship, and it is like mind-blowing. Anyway, you go down there and you get to have one of the nice princess robes that you usually just get to have in a suite these days, and that it was just fantastic. He's like, you finished off at the bridge where they would serve champagne, fruit, desserts. Sounds lovely. So I am really looking forward to that coming back. So thank you very much for that clarification. Now, just two quick updates that we've got from one, I guess. Sorry, I've already talked about the cruise ships not going to Mexico. So our Let's Go family member, Janine, was so kind. They are on the Emerald Princess right now, and it turns out she lives really close to where I live. So they are on the Emerald Princess right now, and apparently she was having engine problems. And so they were going to be arriving late to Cobb tomorrow, which would be today. And so I am really anxious to hear if they were able to resolve those engine problems right away, or what's going on with the Emerald Princess. So if any of you are sailing on the Emerald Princess right now, we would really appreciate hearing from you so that you can kind of tell us what's going on, and it kind of will help everybody. We all like to know what's going on, don't we? And then also any of you who will be sailing on the Emerald Princess next will maybe have an idea of what's going on. The last thing that I wanted to talk to you about is on our Friday Night Live, our Let's Go family member Wendy told us about a testing place in Athens that is so slick. You go there and you pay €5, you get your COVID test, you come back in 20 minutes and they give you your result. And she said it was called HOMED, and so I wrote down HOMED. I cannot find it anywhere. And so Wendy, if you're listening, or if any of you have gotten your testing done there before. She said it was really close to Constitution Square, so that's very handy. There's a metro line there, very handy. So could you help us out with that? I was trying to find a link so that I could put it out there for everyone, and maybe I've got it spelled wrong, or maybe I heard it wrong. So if any of you can help us with that, I would really appreciate it, because I think Greece has just a unique situation with their testing requirements right now as far as getting on a cruise ship. To go to Greece, like to fly in, you don't need to have a COVID test. You don't have to be vaccinated. So I wanted to let you know about that. And so tonight is Monday. This is Monday. So tonight we are going to do our live. We put out a questionnaire wondering if people liked Mondays or Fridays better. It seems like Fridays is winning, but for the next just couple of weeks, we are going to try to continue to do both. And then once we hit September, then we'll probably just go with Fridays. But the reason we're doing 2 a week now is because we're going to have to miss some things, some of our lives coming up in the future. And so if we can hit a Friday when we missed a Monday or whatever, we're going to try to do that. I'm going to go visit our son and his family that live in Boston next week. So that will kind of change things up a little bit with our lives. But join us tonight if you can. We would love to have you. We always do it at 9 p.m. Eastern time on a Monday night. And so make sure that if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit that little notification bell there next to it. And then that way you will get a notification, either an email, or if you turn notifications for YouTube on your phone, you'll just get that little banner that says when we're live, so that you can join us, or when we put a video up, so that you don't miss any of the very quickly changing cruise information coming out these days. Plus, I love to have you with us. If you appreciate these videos, would you please give this one a thumbs up, because it really does help us out a lot. I'll be talking to you all again really soon. You all take really good care. God bless you. Love you. Bye-bye.